Yes. Christopher, thank you for joining us this morning. The research director at the Center for Election Innovation and Research. We were just speaking with our reporter, Danielle, who's here on the ground following everything primary election day for us at the polling location. So as it relates to Arizona's election and some of our policies and procedures, that, as we talked about, it's new this year that when you drop off that early ballot today, for example, you can have that counted right then and there. Are you thinking that's going to make a big impact on when we see these final numbers start to come in?
Well, thanks, Desiree and Ron, for having me this morning. I do think that it will be a big difference. This is not totally brand new in Arizona. There have been a few jurisdictions that have been using this, so it's a tried and tested method. And yeah, the intention is to allow those ballots to be counted quicker. One of the things with these ballots that are dropped off, they're mailed out to folks. We need to really carefully check the identity on these ballots, and that takes time. So when that's done at the polling place, because people are showing their ID, then it's done. When polls close on election night, they have all those ballots. They can go straight into the counting process. Anyone who doesn't drop off their ballot at the polling place, we have to check their signature, and that takes time. And as Danielle was just talking about, those ballots have to go from the polling place or the drop box into the tabulation center for all that to happen. So multiple steps, and it takes time. Take all those out when people's ballots are dropped off.
What is the Center for Election Innovation and Research? What do you guys do?
So we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We work with local and state election officials across the country to study their processes and practices and laws and try to help them get better. So we talk with election officials about these ideas like dropping off the ballot and having the ID checked at the polling place. Right, that's something that we talk to election officials about all over the country to speed up this process. So those are the kinds of things we work with them on, the nuts and bolts of elections to make them more secure, quicker ballot counting, all of those things to try to boost confidence in elections all across the country.
So as you take one step back, big picture wise, because you guys look at all 50 states, what's your sort of state of the state of voting here in 2026? Are you encouraged by states that are making some changes, or where do you come down on it all?
Well, I think what we've seen is actually from 2024 to 2026, there have been far fewer changes than we have seen in recent elections. We all remember all the changes that were made in 2020, but we've seen options for voting, like voting by mail and early in person, expand over a number of years. But those kinds of things are now really widespread across all 50 states, and we're not really seeing those options change across states. So I think we have stability. I also think it's important to keep in mind, right, 2020 was miraculous in the pandemic, extremely well-run election, probably the best in history, certainly the most scrutinized in history. And then, got better in 22, better in 2024. And I think we'll be better in 2026 because election officials keep learning, keep working. For a lot of us, we're paying attention to Election Day today for the first time. Election officials have been working on this for months. They've been getting ready for months, thinking about how they could do what they did in 2024 and do it better for 2026.
Mm-hmm. And given all your research, what is your opinion? What are, maybe the two things that, create the most successful, the smoothest election process?
Well, I think Arizona's moved in the right direction here, like with this making the ballot counting quicker. That's certainly one of the biggest controversies that we've seen in Arizona and a number of other states. So I think that's a big deal. Right, encouraging people to cast their ballots early in person if they want to cast it in person rather than waiting for Election Day. That also smooths out the process. Means that if somebody forgets their ID when they come to the polls, they can go back, get it, still participate without problems. Really smooth those things out. So yeah, those are some of the big things that I see. And the preparation, right? You have great election officials across all the counties in Arizona. Of both parties. These are hardworking individuals. They're working to make sure the election works in their community. And they've been doing a lot of hard work to get ready for this. And they are the people, whether you're talking about the chief election official or the people who volunteer and work the polls, right? Those are the people who really make elections work. And they've been getting ready for a long time.
We got about a minute left here. Short of making sure that states can perhaps count accurately, but a little more efficiently, a little bit more quickly. I think that maybe eliminates some doubt. People sometimes are like, it's been a week and a half. When, it starts to raise doubts in voters' minds. Beyond that, beyond maybe moving the time frame up, but still be accurate and efficient, what else can be done to help people feel like, in an era when there's been a lot of talk about, do we really know for sure if our elections are safe and secure? Anything else that could be done?
Yeah, I think there are two really important things. Election officials being as transparent as possible, and you have some great role models in Arizona. People can go in and take a tour of the tabulation center where Danielle was, not today while they're busy, but other times there's live streams, there's cameras everywhere, trying to put the data up online so people can look at it themselves. But on the other side, I think there's something for voters here too, to remember that this process takes time. And yes, we want to know the results right away. But as you just said, Ron, we also want them to be accurate. And that takes time. And it has always taken time. And there are lots of steps built into this. So in the next 2 weeks after Election Day, all the results will be checked. They'll be rechecked. There are all these safeguards in place. And those take time before we get the official election results.
Okay.
All right.
Really good. Love hearing some of the positive. You don't always hear the positive.
Yeah, that was nice to hear some Arizona praise there.
Yeah, for sure.
Christopher, thank you.
There's a lot of positive, and I want voters to hear that.
Awesome. Christopher, thanks. Christopher,
All right.
again,
Thank
from the
you.
Center for Election Innovation and Research.